Would you eat a deep-fried cricket? Here's a picture from my dad of him eating crickets in Cambodia. Insects are traditionally eaten around the world and are increasingly more popular here in North America as an alternative source of protein. We feed insects to our chicken, pigs, and fish. But did you also know that we use insects as fertilizers, nutrient recyclers, and to make bio-oils? The popularity of insect products means farms like this cricket farm have started up around the world. But before these farms can meet the demand for insect products, insect farming must become cheaper than chicken farming. And there are many similarities between raising chickens and raising crickets. In fact, we can think of crickets like livestock, but in miniature. And we can ask the same questions like, what rearing conditions do they like? How do they grow and develop? And when can we harvest to get the highest outputs of yield? And these are all questions for which we know the answers to for chickens, but we don't know for crickets. And that's where we come in. We've partnered up with cricket producers here in Canada to help them build bigger, better bugs. And that can help them increase their yields, increase their profits, and make cricket farming cheaper than chicken. Now we know more about the ins and outs of building bigger, better bugs. We know what rearing conditions crickets like, and they like high temperatures between 32 and 36 degrees Celsius, and they like a balanced diet of protein and carbohydrates. Under these conditions, we can get up to 75% of crickets surviving to adulthood after 32 days. And we know how heavy male and female crickets weigh, and that's important for calculating yields. Based on all of this information, we can estimate that a farmer can harvest every 5 weeks to get the highest outputs of yield. And this process shows how our fundamental science can be used to help farmers increase their yields, increase their profits, and make cricket farming cheaper than chicken by helping them build bigger, better bugs, and to help them allocate their time and resources. So far, this is all information we've collected in the laboratory, but this is only the first step of a bigger process that involves researchers like myself, insect producers, governments, and consumers like you and I. Our next steps are to test how the results we've collected in the lab translate to the workings at a farm, and that helps us refine our studies and set targets for future studies, because there's still a lot of science that we can do. Like, can we develop a domesticated breed of cricket that is better suited for insect farming? And lastly, we need government and community support to implement policies and generate interest in edible insects, because that will help bring the edible insect industry from the lab to the farm and ultimately to our forks. And soon, we may not need to travel to Cambodia to enjoy deep-fried crickets on the menu.